Hi, this is William Chakowski, recording for week 11 for the Promineo backend bootcamp. This is going to be the final addition to our MySQL application. Let's get right to it. So this week we are adding two new functions to our application. We are adding a function that would allow us to update project details, and we were adding a function that would let us delete project details. So hop right into it. First, for our update method, we have a new menu option. It's number 4. We call it update project details. We added another case to our switch statement, and the method that it's going to be using is called update project details. For that, we are going to first check to see if we have selected a product or a project to work with. If we haven't, it will return us back to the menu and ask us to please pick a project first. Then it's going to ask for, once you have that checked off, project name, estimated hours, actual hours, the difficulty level from 1 to 5, and any additional notes. Then those will be set to the project object that we have, and we will pass that along to the service layer for our modify project detail, which in our service layer, we have modify project detail. It's going to basically query and see if it's a pass through to the project DAO, asking if this project object that we have meets the criteria that we're looking for. And so as it passes through to the DAO layer, we have our boolean. It's actually going to be proving whether or not this is true or false, and then it will pass it back up to the app layer and set the new updated notes that we have added to the system. So we have our string statement, we have our connection. We're going to start our transaction after we make our connection. We're going to have our prepared statement to prevent insertions, setting the parameters. Then we're going to have a new Boolean variable, and it's going to basically check and see if the statement that we are sending to the database is true. And then it will commit that transaction, and then it will return 1 or 0, 1 being true, 0 being false. And if it's 0, then it's not going to go through the transaction. And so that bumps back up to the service layer, which if it checks off here, it's going to send it back up to the project app layer. And then we're going to set current projects to those variables and then return it to the user and be like, hey, like here's your new notes. And so that's the update function that we added. And now we have our delete method, delete function. So that's option 5 here in our user selection, and we added that case to our switch for delete project. Delete project, it's going to list off the projects that are available in the database, and then it's going to accept user input for like the project ID. And then it's going to initiate our actual delete function, which is going to pass through to the service layer. And it's also a pass through here. It's just checking to see if it's not, it's going to throw a DB exception. And then in the DAO, this is where our delete project method is. We have our string statement telling us where we're going to delete, and the project ID is the variable that the user is fulfilling. Get our transaction, get our connection, start our transaction, our prevent insertions, set the parameter for this boy, and then another Boolean, much like the update. It's going to check to make sure that's true. Then it will commit that transaction, change the database as needed, and return the deleted to us, passing back up through the service layer and back up to the app layer, where then it will print out a line saying project of the project ID that we entered was successfully deleted. And then it will set our current projects variable to null, so we're no longer working with a project. So we can run this and see it in action. So first, I'm going to list off our projects just to show you what we have. And so we have one project in there right now, hang a door. So we're going to select that project. So now we are working with, you are working with project ID number 2. So now we are going to try and update this project. So now the project name, hang a door, we're going to keep that. Estimated hours, let's change that to 3.5. Actual hours, we'll say that was, we were really moving that day, 2.5. Project difficulty, it was pretty easy, so we're going to bump that down 1. And any project notes, right now it's currently use the door hangers from Home Depot. We'll keep that the same. And voila, we connected. The schema of projects is successful. And here's our updated information for our project. 3.5 hours down from the 4, 2.5, et cetera, et cetera. And so now we're still working with this project. We're going to delete this project. So we're going to choose our menu option 5. And now it shows us our list of projects that we have. We're going to choose 2 because that is our hang a door. Run, and bam, we made it connected successfully to projects. Project 2 was deleted, and it brings us back to our menu. So we can close out of that guy. Other than that, that is what we had going on this week. Yeah, have a great time.